So we're driving from Moab all the way to Telluride, and we're doing it the long way, which normally is about 150 miles or so. It takes you maybe 4 or 5 hours, but when you do it this way, it's going to take us 3 days.
This is the La Salle Mountains, the Salt Mountains, but there's actually no salt in them whatsoever. It was snow, so kind of a really cool one. We're gonna go right up to that little saddle there, which is La Salle Pass, and that's where our lunch spot will be. Very cool. So a nice pretty spot and a little cooler weather.
Yeah. And then over your shoulder is Moab, right?
Over your shoulder is Moab, yeah. So this is the Spanish Valley that we're overlooking. So you can see all the way north up into the Book Cliff Range. This is Canyonlands, so your favorite white rim is out in Canyonlands Island and Sky District this way. We got the Maze on the other side of the river and the Needles District of Canyonlands to the south. And they're all split up by rivers. So you got the Colorado and the Green make up the 3 ranges of, or the 3 sections of Canyonlands
and you've got
National
the
Park.
confluence creating island in the sky.
Exactly.
So as a crow flies, how far is Telluride from here?
About, as a crow flies, about 150 miles.
So not far.
Not too far.
Yeah.
Nope.
Under the hood of this Tacoma is a 3.5 liter 6-cylinder, puts out 278 horsepower and 265 pound-foot of torque. It's mated, of course, to all 4 wheels via a 6-speed automatic transmission. Now, the one difference between this Taco and every other Taco, for the most part, is right here. Yep, it's the hood scoop. It's pretty cool, but unfortunately it's cosmetic and not functional. All right, let's turn on all the electronics. Got, of course, Loose Rock, we've got Mogul, we've got Rock and Dirt, which is, I think, where we're at, wouldn't you say? Rock and Dirt? Yeah. Seems about right. Crawl control. Let's see, the other thing I think we want to do is lock our rear diff. Oh, so easy, look at that. Just push a button and the rear diff is locked. Rock on. And away we go, look at that. Now all I have to do is control my speed with this knob, and then let the truck do everything else. And I'm gonna pick the hardest line just because I can. All I have to do is concentrate on driving. Oh, it's a little too fast there. A little too fast, just slowed it down.
A lot of people don't know too that you can accelerate through crawl control. So if you're like getting to a section and you don't want to turn it all off, like, a lot of times there's a section that's technical and then maybe 30-40 yards of cruise. You can cruise through it, just back off slowly, because if you let off the accelerator quickly, it'll take you back down to the crawl control speed. And if you're set to the top one, it'll be like 3 miles an hour. So just ease off and then go right through the next section. You're not having to push the buttons. You can accelerate through the setting.
Yeah.
And the one little fun fact too is if you're in a tricky section with rocks and ledges, and for whatever reason you need to change your line, it will work in reverse. It can help you bump up a hill, or if you kind of just need to retrace your steps that where it was a rocky, ledgy section, it'll still function in reverse as well. So kind of a cool little feature that you may not always need to use, but if you do.
Or Josh, if you're like me and you have more balls than brains, you get yourself into a situation.
And you need to walk yourself out of it. Yeah, you can definitely do so.
I've been in those before. And then the great thing, like right now, is it's kind of got easy. So what I did was I stepped on the accelerator, got a little bit more power, and then when it gets steep again, I can just let go of the accelerator and I'll be in, once again, in the fourth. Little click here. Now the other thing it does, of course, is not only does it work when you're going up, it also works going down. So now I've got the crawl control working, and you can hear it. It's basically braking the truck, letting me once again just concentrate on steering. And what I can do is I can change my speed. So if I'm going too fast, I just crank it down. If I'm not going fast enough, I crank it up.
Good, looking good. Okay, hard passenger. Hard passenger. Yeah, you're good. Nice, you're clear.
Leland, what your pull around this side here?
So he saw the same thing, you know, it got to the point where he got to the point where just normal throttle modulation just, you know, forces the tire to spin out or whatever. That's when you can turn the computer on and it says, okay, I'm sensing that I'm slipping, and it can modulate it, and it sends the power to the wheels that have traction, and it can exceed a driver's capability. Because of the mechanical, you have to have a computer to be able to do that stuff. So, and he wasn't locked on that one. 4Runner was locked to go up through here. He was unlocked. So crawl control got him through that regardless of the locker being engaged.
Let's talk the important numbers on the Tacoma TRD Pro. It will tow 6,400 pounds, which is, you know, about right for a mid-sized truck. The payload is 1,175 and the curb weight is 4,425. 35-degree approach angle, 23.9-degree departure angle, and it has 9.2 inches of ground clearance. So I've set up the camera to give you a bit of a driver's POV point of view, and I'm not going to use crawl control because, frankly, I like controlling the truck myself. It's just more fun. Sometimes technology is enabling, and sometimes, just like a manual versus an automatic, it's more fun to do it the manual way because you have more control. Let's talk about the differences between a regular Taco and this TRD Pro. First and foremost is this Heritage grille. If you guys love old Land Cruisers, you'll love the big Toyota grille on the front of it. Also down here is a skid plate. You can't really see it on the Taco, you can really tell on the 4Runner, but it's got TRD embossed in red underneath there. Now if we move to the side, you can see Rigid Industry fog lamps, pretty cool and pretty modern. Over here underneath, we've got 2.5-inch Fox shocks front and rear, and about an inch more of lift, giving it, I think, a better stance. You also have these special blacked out wheels, and this TRD Pro is sporting Wrangler Goodyear with Kevlar. Now the biggest difference, I think, besides all these cosmetic changes, is right there. That's right, don't call it a snorkel, that's a desert air intake, because the truck doesn't have any more fording depth, but it does have what I think is a pretty, well, ubiquitous and important overlanding feature, and that is, I'm going to call it a snorkel. Let's just call it that. It's a snorkel. Specifically this one, the new TRD Pro, I believe has the very first manufacturer desert air intake. Toyota says it does give you the ability to get clean air, so that's why they're calling it the desert air intake. Let's take a look inside. The differences between a regular Taco and this one aren't that great. You've got basically red stitching on the seat, you've got TRD embossed headrest, you've got special shift knob, and that's about it. Most of the changes are either cosmetic or, of course, functional, like the big 2.5-inch shocks, or the fact that this truck has an inch more width just because of the offset needed for the special off-road suspension. But speaking of options, now the upgraded JBL and sunroof come standard on the TRD Pro package. Well, we've got a little bit of tricky area here, so we get to do a little bit of rock crawling, a little bit of an offset. There we go. The videographers are taking pictures. Nothing scraping, nothing hitting, and we're through. All good. So let's talk about the competition. So obviously the TRD Pro is Toyota's most off-road worthy Tacoma, and it competes with trucks like the Colorado ZR2 and of course the Frontier Pro 4X. Which one's the best? Well, if you're talking just in terms of technical gear, you have to give it to the ZR2. While this one has 2.5-inch Fox shocks, the ZR2 has the new Multimatic spool valve shocks, which are Formula One derived, and they're pretty darn good. It also has a locking front differential and a locking rear diff, so when you get into some really tight and steep and deep situations, having that front locker is really good. It's one of the few vehicles you can actually get with a front locker. You can also get a Power Wagon, of course, and a Jeep Wrangler Rubicon with a front locker, but that's about the end of that list. When you're going off-road, you want good approach angle, good departure angle, good breakover angle, good tires, good ground clearance, and this one has it. Is it better than the ZR2 and the Pro 4X? It's different. We'd have to put them up head-to-head to really compare them to see if it's better, but I have to tell you that I feel like this TRD Pro is a mountain goat when it comes to this kind of rock crawling. It just eats it up. Now, one of the things that makes Tacomas is, of course, the seating position. We did a video where we actually measured the seat height, and what we found is that the Toyota has a very high floor and a very low seat, and actually a very low roof line as well. So what you end up with is a truck where you kind of feel like you're sitting on the floor of the truck with your legs straight out in front of you, and some people love that and some people don't. That's really a personal preference. I have the issue right now where I'm kind of looking into the top of this eight pillar a little bit because the roof line is so low, and this truck will come with a sunroof. It doesn't have one right now, which will actually decrease the amount of headroom I have even more. So for big guys, especially if you're over, let's say, 6 foot tall, the Toyota Tacos tend to be just a little bit on the tight side when it comes to headroom. So for all you Canadians out there, the fuel economy on this truck is 12 liters per 100 kilometers. And if you guys want to do the math in America and convert that, that's around 20-ish MPG combined. Now the truck will be available this fall, figure around September, and pricing has not yet been released, but figure it's going to be a little bit more expensive because you've got all the off-road goodies. I've been wheeling this truck most of the morning, and I have to say I'm getting the measure of this Tacoma TRD Pro, and I'm impressed. The Fox shocks do a really good job of keeping the wheels on the dirt, plenty of traction, plenty of grip. The locking rear differential provides that extra oomph you need when it gets a little bit rock crawly. It's the right size. We're of course in a Caravan with a bunch of other larger Toyotas, including a couple Tundras and a Land Cruiser, and those guys are, I suspect, doing a bit of pinstriping, and yet on this very tight, loose rock, off-roady trail, this Tacoma is right at home. As always, this is Roman saying thanks for watching, and guys, check out TFLTruck.com for more news, views, and of course real-world reviews. And keep in mind that I'm going to be doing some more wheeling in the other two TRD Pros, so come back next time when we put them to the test. See you guys next time. Ciao.